I want to talk to you about what we do know about core stability, because it's a very hot topic in the industry at the moment. It has been for a couple of years. I want to talk about conditions that you might see, specifically sacroiliac joint rehabilitation tonight, which is an interesting area, and especially which health professionals have a real shot at. And I want to share with you tonight what we're doing in our Better Back program. I think there's some things in the Better Back program that we use in our clinics that you can all take away and use tonight. And a lot of the exercises that I'll talk about are things that come from the fitness industry. So there's a lot of information there. The more you guys put into this, the more you'll get out of it, so please feel free to put your hand up. If I get short for time though, I may have to cut you off and get you to write your question down. I'm happy to hang around at the end of the presentation for as long as it takes. So ready to go to work and see what we can know about lumbar spines. All right, let's see what I've got here. Basically, that's our overview for tonight. My goal is for you to walk away tonight feeling good about what you're doing at the moment with a sight on what you're going to do next. Sometimes you go to presentations and you walk away thinking, gee, I don't do that, or I didn't do this, I don't think I'm doing the right thing. So you can walk away sometimes feeling a bit depressed about the presentation. If you feel like that tonight, I've let you down. And I tell you that won't happen. You will take away things tonight that'll be aha moments for you that you can use in your practice and in your personal training sessions or rehab sessions as of tomorrow. Is it postural or is it structural? A lot of people stand funny. They'll stand a bit like this and you'll think, oh, they've got a bit of a scoliosis. But it might be just the way they're standing. It's a postural curve. Okay. The way to test it, get the person to bend forward. If it straightens up again, if it straightens when they go down there, it's a postural curve. If there's a curve and they bend forward and the curve stays when they're bending forward, there's a structural issue there. Okay. Does that make sense? Just be aware, get the person to stand up and see what it does. If it disappears, it's going to be a postural thing. Just be aware of that in your program design. And you'll see a scoliosis that's reasonably severe on that picture up there. Obviously reasonably severe, but hopefully we don't have those ones going around. If you do no other stretch, other than a version of that hip flexor stretch, we spend a whole life sitting. It's any wonder that the tighter we get through here, people spend their life in that position, seated. They come to the gym, they're doing leg presses, they're doing step-ups. It's again a real important muscle in allowing us to free up motion. And we'll talk tonight about the importance of mobility. Okay? Learn nothing else tonight, put a cross next to that stretch. Okay? It's a very important stretch for you to get stuck into. That whole idea of standing and compressing wedges it down so it's stable because of the compression. The form of it holds it together. Is everyone happy with that? So that's pretty obvious and well designed too, by the way. But we've also got force closure. Some muscles that work around this area of the SIJ to keep us a bit more stable. Okay, so there's certain times. Now, what we have in an issue of our sacrum is a thing called nutation and counter-nutation. So this is my version of core stability, the definition. I reckon it's the provision of optimal motion control. So it's optimal motion control at each spinal segment. So optimal motion control at each spinal segment provided by the coordination of muscular, ligamentous and osseous structures. Everyone happy with that? You don't have to be. That's what I've come up with. That's something that I use when I talk about core stability. What's the key word in that phrase? There's probably a few key words. What's a real important one? Motion's important. Control's important. Optimal. Optimal. Because what do we sometimes do? We get so caught up in core stability, we get rigid. So core stability for a lot of people is being so locked in here that absolutely nothing happens. So he'll put his fingers in exactly the same spot. His feet are apart. From there, I'm going to get him to deep breathe in, breathe out. He'll draw down about 1 centimetre. Don't overdo it. We sometimes say 10% of contraction. So not to the point you're doing this. If everything's bulging and they're up here, it's too much. It's about 10% of contraction. They're feeling something under the fingers. He then slowly lets one leg fall away, slowly to the side. It's a fallout. So you're trying to then add another movement to the stability program. But you've got to keep that control all the way. If the person's opposite hip lifts up, you know they've lost it. This is where it becomes fun because now you've got a million exercises you can move into, but you've got to know which one works what sling. This is where you have to go through around your facility, your personal training studio, your physio clinic, whatever you've got at your disposal, and list, this is the exercise that'll work this sling, this sling, this sling and this sling. You might have access to the things that we have to play with. Adjust your weights from there. You do a push-pull. So you're pulling one, pushing the other one. Even better though, coordinate to a lunge push-pull. So you've got this one pulling the cable from over here and this one pushing one from here. Twist and turn. Probably the most complete everything exercise going around.